Hello, divine creations, divine marvels, children of God. A warm welcome to this channel. To anyone who's new, this channel is dedicated to the teachings of a very, very dear to my heart spiritual teacher named Bruno Groening. You can find out more about him in the link to the side or below. So I just feel deeply inspired to share some reflections. So, I came to this path looking for healing, needing healing. My body was falling apart. I've shared this many times, and this teaching literally saved my life. And then through a variety of circumstances, which I've shared a little bit about. Hi, Jisoo. Good morning. I experienced some very deep challenges, challenges to my faith, challenges to my understanding of what Bruno Groening taught. Like, as far as I was concerned, and kind of other people, like I was this like Bruno Groening star, like I had 8 or 9 healings in like 6 months. I was just full of love and life, and it was like I was reborn. And that was amazing. And not only was I reborn, my life was saved. I completely became a different person. However, then some very deep life challenges came that I wasn't prepared for, and what I had been taught about Bruno Groening and his teaching didn't prepare me for, because I did the things I was told to do. I tuned in, I gave the illness away, the burden away. I cultivated faith. I went to community hour, and it just didn't work. In some ways, it made things worse in kind of a paradoxical way. So it set me on this. That was 10 years ago that I got off of the path I was on, or being just like everything is great and all these healings and all these miracles. And for 10 years, I've been exploring and asking, what did Bruno Groening really teach? What am I missing here? Because I knew in my heart that Bruno Groening, that man, I've got pictures of him all over my house. I'm like, that man is teaching the truth. That man is one of the purest masters who's ever walked on this planet. So what am I doing wrong? What am I missing here? And I've been on this journey for 10 years. 10 years of the hard part of the journey, seeking answers. And I believe I'm really starting to see clearly now, or more clearly. So first and foremost, Bruno Groening said healings were only 10% of his work. That's a very significant statement. Can you imagine going up to a Christian and you being like, what did Jesus teach? And they're like, Jesus taught you to feed the poor. And you're like, well, what else did he teach? He's like, he taught you to feed the poor. Like, that's what it's all about. Like, that'd be absurd. It's obviously a significant part, charity, not just feeding the poor, but charity. But it's not a tiny portion of what we have record of what Christ taught, but it's definitely a very minority piece, an important piece, a significant piece. So what was the piece? What am I missing? What was I missing? And part of what I was missing is I was trying to force healing. Bruno Groening said, if a healing does not occur, it is because the person is not yet ripe, or I'm paraphrasing, but it's almost exact, or there's a certain spiritual maturity that's needed. Because we don't get it. See, I was treating illness. I was trying to use Bruno Groening's healing method the way that Western medicine works. Like, oh, you have a medicine? Let's give you a shot or give you a pill and let's get rid of it. We don't have illness, and sometimes healings happen like that, but that's not really what it's about. It's about changing ourselves. And when we change ourselves, then healings can happen. There are lessons that need to be learned. It's not just like you take in a lot of Heilstrom and then the illness goes, though it can happen that way. And sometimes it does, but that's just sometimes. That's maybe the 10%. The rest is about inner transformation. And from those inner transformations, healings can occur, and then spiritual learning and growth. Okay, but what are the things we're supposed to learn? Well, I can't say I have all of it. I can't say I have But I think what I'm starting to see is the big pieces that Bruno called us to. First and foremost, faith. Faith just doesn't mean faith that this illness is going to go someday. Faith means trusting God, that the hand of God is active in everything, even the parking ticket. Another very important piece is detachment. Bruno Groening said, you cannot, I'm paraphrasing, but it's almost exact, you cannot follow the will of God if you're attached to worldly things. That's a very strong statement, but it makes sense. If I'm attached to my hobbies and my relationships and, drinking beer or a certain kind of food, then that energy is not focused on God. Doesn't mean you have to be a monk or nun, but the more we're attached to people, places, and things, the less we're attached to God. It's just a fact of life. It's written that Jesus said you cannot serve two masters. I think that's a big part of what he meant. So, and then the last piece is to, yes, follow the will of God. What does that mean? What does it mean to be guided moment by moment? I haven't mastered it yet. I have periods in my life, minutes, sometimes hours, occasionally days, where things just flow, where I'm just guided, do this, then do that, then say this. That doesn't happen all the time. I wish. And what I've realized is because Bruno Groening is correct. It's because I'm attached to people, places, and things, and I'm not listening to God. Now, Bruno was very much about honoring the body and being in his body. He's a very grounded being. And yet, he was also very clear that we're supposed to tune into and listen to God all day long. Now, I haven't mastered that, so I can't sit here and tell you what it's like. I can tell you what it's like, as I said, for a period of time, but I'm not a master. I believe Bruno Groening was a master, and he called all of us to mastery and to spiritual growth. And that's why I haven't been posting on this channel so much for a while. I was like doing it every day. I was tuning in multiple times a day on this channel. I'm like, let's just take in a lot of Heilstrom. But I just knew something was missing. So I've just been searching. And that's part of what has been missing for me personally. But I also believe in the Bruno Groening community as a whole. People are too focused on healing. And I was as well. That's just a part of it. So that's my latest insight. I'm very excited about it. And I'm practicing learning detachment. And the other piece is having a religion. Bruno Groening was he said and did things to make it so that his teaching didn't become a religion. Yet I have made it into religion. Many other people have, and certain organizations have really turned it into a religion. Bruno Groening wanted it to be something that supplemented someone's religion. And so I've been searching for my religion, and I believe I found it, an organized religion that I feel very comfortable and matches. And then I can use Bruno Groening's teachings to help me grow in that faith and participate in a community, in a religious community. So that's my update. And my hope is that these insights are helpful for other people. And if you're coming here looking for healing, then just do that. Focus on that. That Bruno is a rock star at helping healing happen. And if the healing doesn't happen as quickly as you want it to, then maybe some of these other pieces that I'm talking about are necessary to facilitate the healing. Thank you so very much for dropping by. I wish everyone a blessed, blessed day. Take care.